Whatever it takes.
I hear food. I hear food and glasses.
Whoa.
Clanking.
Yes.
I heard glasses clanking. Where am I missing?
You come to Bayswater. It's only a few blocks away. I'm
Don't
not going to tell
me.
you where the food is from, though. That I'm not going to say.
I heard chimichurri. I heard chimichurri.
There you go. Yeah.
Where are we up to?
We are at the end of Siman Aleph, the Kitzur, right?
The Kitzur.
The Kitzur, yeah.
You're here?
Mr. Trachtenberg, how are you? Oh, Hashem. You're good.
That's what I wanted. Just pour the first.
Where do we leave off? By Ms. Mayri Tila? Yeah. We said Vav, right? We finish off by Vav. Siman Aleph, Siv Vav.
Can we read the last line of the of Hay again for the people who don't go to shul?
Where does it say you don't go to shul? Where does it say anything about shul?
To go. Right?
No, it says that's if you're going, if you're going to go down with the minions, so you got to get up early. That's if you're going to down with a tzibur, get up early. If you're down with Yechidus, it sounds like you just roll right out of bed. Does anybody agree with that deal?
Maybe he has to go.
Yeah, Landau, you agree with that deal.
Besides for the getting out of bed part.
Yeah. Okay, Vav, right? So Ms. Mayre Tehillim, Prakam of Tehillim, V'chein Shar Parshias Mitar Nevi'im Ksuvim, She'enam Shegurim B'fi Akol. These are psukim that people, not everybody's familiar with. So also Lomar Balpeh, you're not allowed to say it Balpeh. Okay, Afilu Mishu Yedei Lomar Balpeh. And even if somebody does know Balpeh, Yeshlu Lizar Shaloi Lomar Balpeh. Even if you do know it Balpeh, you should be careful not to do it Balpeh. Summa mutter, and but assume somebody who's blind is mutter. So, do you know anybody that keeps this halacha?
What?
Not to say mizmayrim and psukim balpeh. I know, but you know anybody
that? Different question.
You tell me everybody looks in a siddur when they say psukim de zimra and halal.
When I'm not pacing back and forth.
Yeah. For what's
in other words, no.
Correct. Correct. So you're not supposed to. Yeah. So
does that fit with other things like benching?
No, benching is not psukim.
It's a mila to do.
Benching is not psukim. Yeah, you're supposed to bench with a bencher, yes, but benching is not psukim. This is dafka psukim of the Torah, of Tanakh, right? So. Here on the footnote here, he brings up, what does he have? 8. He has eight situations here where it's mutter. All right? If everybody knows the psukim, then that's okay. All right? Then he says, brings shitas taisus that it's only if you're being mitzi somebody, meaning if you're being mitzi somebody and saying psukim, like if you were saying halal for somebody, for whatever reason, didn't have the koyach or whatever it is to say halal, so then you would be able, you should make sure you say it from a siddur, because you don't want to botch it. All right, and then if it's kavanah, if it's ishpachos, whatever it is, between all these eight scenarios here, pretty much that's why nobody is not to say brachas bafeh, meaning you cover it within these 8. You're going to cover almost all situations. All right, fine. Then yesh limchais b'yadam tchinas shebamamodos. You should make a macha on those that say tchinas shebamamodos shemesayim baruch atah Hashem shemei atfila. Yesh lim baruch shemei atfila b'loy shem malchus. Okay, that's tam. That's always a tumult. When exactly you have to say when you finish off baruch atah. Do you say baruch atah Hashem shemei atfila, baruch shemei atfila? When is there is one common time that we say it, and we're supposed to leave out. You know where? The Chazin's silent tefillah before Musaf, if anybody ever paid attention to it. on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Chazan has to.
I know, I didn't say you should pay attention to it, but in case anybody ever paid attention to it, there it says, it finishes off with Baruch Shemei Atfilah. It does not say Baruch Correct. Yes, and then a Yiskadel or Yiskadel, whichever way it is. Okay, fine. Now, Hilchos Yidayim Shachris, so washing your hands in the morning. The Fisha Adam Kasher Kam Mitase Shachris. Hukumai Bria Chadasha Lavaida Sabari is Baruch Shemoy. Since a person, when he gets up from his bed, is considered a new creation, to do the Avodas Hashem, right? So therefore, you need to make yourself Kaddish and wash your hands with the Kli. Right? A Kohen, before he started with Avodah, also had to wash his hands. So we are considered like Kohanim.
So what's the difference between Chadash and not a Bria?
No, the pshat is that before you start your Avodas Hashem, before you start any sort of Avodas Hashem, you are supposed to wash your hands.
So he's saying, right? Right. Therefore, because of that, so
right.
So what's the comparison to the Kohen?
What does Bria Chadasha mean? What does that mean?
What is a Bria Chadasha?
Yeah.
The creation.
Meaning that it's a new day.
You were dead.
It's a new day that you're doing a new Avodah to Hashem today, as it's different Avodah than it was yesterday. Right?
So why is
that makes you a different person?
Well, if it's the same Avodah.
I mean, I don't want to, I'm going to be facetious, but so how does your wife stay in the room with you?
She's not a Kohen.
If you're a Bria Chadasha.
Yeah.
A lot of times the wife hopes you're a Bria Chadasha than you were the way you were the day before. Right?
That's what she's davening for.
Correct. So, I don't know. It's really, there's really two reasons why you're supposed to wash your hands, right? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But the point is that the main point is that when you wake up as a Yid, what you're doing throughout that day is that you are being an Oved Hashem. It doesn't say if you're sitting in Kollel or Yeshiva, you're an Oved Hashem. It just says anybody that wakes up as an Erlich Yid becomes an Oved Hashem. And therefore you have to wash your hands just like the Kohen.
So the Bria Chadash has nothing to do with the comparison.
That's what you're both asking. What's Bria Chadasha have to do with doing Avodas Hashem?
Like the Kohen goes in, it's
meaning, but let's say you didn't go to sleep. Let's say you didn't go to sleep all night. If you didn't go to sleep a whole night, you have to wash your hands? Yes, you do.
Yes. It should say Tzorich.
Not else. This reason.
Right. It depends on which. What's a new Avodah? The Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash is done every night, right? It's done at night. There's no Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash at night other than burning the Emurim. But that's it. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in the Beis Hamikdash at night. It's a new Avodah every day. Right? Okay, so whatever it is, but the point is that you're doing Avodas Hashem just by being a Yid. Right? It has nothing to do with whether you're a Klei Kodesh or you're a janitor or you're a doctor. It doesn't make a difference, whatever it is. You are, right? You're doing Avodas Hashem, so you have to wash your hands, right? There's a big musar in that. Yeah? The Samach L'Natilah Zumin HaMikra Shenema Erchatz B'Nikoyin Kapoi V'Soivas Mizbachach Hashem Mashmiya B'Kol Toidah. Right? So that's one reason. And the second reason to wash your hands in the morning is when you go to sleep and your neshama goes away from you. So when your neshama leaves, then comes tumah. When you wake up, from your sleep, then the ruach hatuma goes out of your body, and it goes. How does it exit your body? I don't know. Does it mean it exits your body through the fingers, or is it just that the tumah doesn't leave your fingers? I always understood it that it exits through your fingers. So therefore, the tumah. What?
Over here, it doesn't say that.
It says. Well, how do you translate? How do you translate chutz min etzva'isa?
That's where it stays.
It stays there.
Maybe it goes out.
Maybe.
From his etzva'isa.
Because it's not clear here.
Here, you only knew this, it doesn't say it.
I'm not so sure.
It doesn't not say it.
Okay, it's inconclusive. That's right. Okay. It only leaves if you wash your hands 3 times. And really, this is heavy duty Kabbalah. This is not right. This is not your regular run of the mill halacha, right?
3 times or 4 times?
Oh, very good. So really, it's 3 times, and the Gra held that you wash 4 times because there's tummy water on you after 3 times, so you want to wash that off. So therefore, the Gra felt that you do 4 times, right? 3 and then 1 more, right? Then it says, okay, let's leave that last line. So,
by the way, the Kava Yashar also says to wash 4 times.
Yeah, based it on meaning he's going with the Gra.
I don't know, but it's something that is out there. Yeah.
Okay, no, I hear that. Yeah. Now he brings in the footnote number 2 is that's why you have to wash your hands before every tefillah. There's another thing that people don't do. You're mechuyev to wash your hands before every davening, shachris, mincha, ma'ariv, with a cup. So what does everybody do? So everybody washes their hands with a cup after the bathroom. That you're not required to do. You are not required to. It's better, I'll be Kabbalah, Chassidim, whatever it is, say that you should wash with a cup. Me'ikar adin, after the bathroom, all you have to do is just wash your hands. Right? But before Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv, and Musaf, for those, I guess, that go out and make Kiddush, right? And then Masiach Das on their hands. So then you're mechuyev to wash your hands with the cup. It doesn't have to be 3 times because it's not a tumah thing. Right? It's not a tumah thing. It's a kedusha. You're washing your hands to be mekadosh yourself before you daven. Right? That's why most shuls have a sink outside the bismedish. Right? That's what it's there for.
People kept a little something expensive.
Well, I mean that works as the water.
Yeah, but the towel doesn't work. It's a remove tumor.
Yeah.
You have to tell this cover they have to have the proper kavanah when they eat whatever they're eating. Otherwise, they're going to have to wash when they sit back down to the sefer. When they're going to get the food, if they don't have the proper kavanahs, they have to wash it.
Yeah. But for learning, you don't really need to wash your hands. It's only for Myra, right? Right, meaning, and even if your hands are totally clean, it's not for nikiyas. It's in order to prepare yourself to daven. And then of course you have those that extend this and they go to the mikveh every day, like the kohanim.
Only once.
Some do it mud. The big rabbis do it more often than that, right? But that's part of where the minhag came from. That chassidim go to the mikveh in the morning because they're a new bria. So, and it's a new avodah before your avodah. You got to go to the mikveh. Right? Fine. There's also an interesting thing that Shalom Tzion Ba'alacha says that the Gemara is actually mashma. So, okay, I'm jumping the gun first. So look at the next line. Va'asur leilech at the end of Sif Aleph. Va'asur leilech dalet amas b'li natilas yadayim. You're not allowed to go more than 4 amas without washing your hands natilas yadayim. Im loy l'tzar gadol ma'ohid, unless you have a very big need for that. Okay, so everybody knows this halacha, just nobody keeps it.
No, there's people stay in the house.
Yeah. So what's the number one excuse is that the entire house is considered like a dalet amas, right? Then you have those that say that when the Ger Tzedek died, the Gra said all these halachas are no longer applicable.
Why?
I have no idea. Just when the Ger Tzedek, he took this tumah, he took this thing away, right? Yeah. So the thing is like this: the Mishar Tzion Halacha brings that the Gemara is actually mashma not like this. This is really based on Zohar, because the Gemara in Brachos, when it goes through all the birchas hashachar that you make in the morning, right? So it says when you make natilas, right? The birchas hashachar, when you put on your shoes, you say shasali kotzarki. When you stand up, you say zaykev kufim. When you etc. Right, so when it says there that when you wash your hands, you make anatilas yadayim. mashma that you don't make natilas, you don't wash your hands right away. Otherwise, you should make natilas. You should make the bracha right then and there, right when you wake up. That should be the first thing, which it is in the order of the siddur. But so it's an interesting thing that this has been adopted by Klal Yisrael, right? But what happens if you wash your hands and you go back to sleep?
It's machloikus.
Everything is a machlokes, right? But more importantly, like this: you get up in the middle of the night. You want to take a drink in the middle of the night. Do you have to wash your hands?
Yes.
No, you have to. No, you can make a bracha, so your hands might be dirty. So then you want to rub your hands on something, but do you have to actually wash your hands and make an natilas yadayim? So
if you're not finished sleeping yet,
huh?
If you're going back to sleep, you're asking.
Correct. You plan on going back to sleep. You get up, take care of the kids or something, whatever it is in the middle of the night. Do you have to go wash your hands? Or you just take care of it? Why not?
They're also going back to sleep. So the same tumah they
You hope. You hope. Do you have to be up a certain amount of time?
Let's use the example of the kids, Evan. Just giving the bottle and walk back, I would say no, but if you're doing something like 15, 20 minutes more.
Okay, I hear that. Zorach is saying that if you're going to be up for a while, then you have to wash your hands. If you're just popping out of bed to give the kid a bottle, then you don't have to. That's okay. I hear that.
We had an interesting question a few weeks ago. If someone wakes up and then goes back to wakes up, so your neshama is popping up and down every time you're waking up and going to sleep?
I guess so. Yeah. Why not? I don't know. But there are many poskim that say if you plan on going back to sleep. Why?
What does it say about taking food or stuff from a guy that didn't wash his hands?
Right.
You're giving it to someone who didn't wash their hands.
But you're not touching the food.
I
don't think you're touching the food or the bottle. I don't think you're touching the baby bottle.
Then you're giving it to someone who didn't wash their hands either.
You're giving it to somebody.
So the baby should wash the baby's hands or the kid's hands.
That's another shiloh. Do you have to wash kids' hands? Do kids need this whole thing?
Why not?
It's a big what?
Why not? They also come
because he brings it here also. He brings it. And where does he bring it?
Why? Because they roll around the tumah all day.
I thought he brought it. Maybe it's that. There's a machlokes. It's a machlokes, of course, whether the kids need it. The Prima Gadol says you should. I don't think there's anybody that says you're chayev to.
I just bring down that they used to die.
Who did it washing it?
Where does he bring the? Does he bring the kids? I thought in the bottom here in the Pirush he discussed the kids. Can't find it now. Nope, I can't find it. Okay. But if you're getting up in the middle of the night and you plan on staying back to sleep, then there are makilim on that you don't have to wash again. There's also those that say that it's only if you slept through chatzos is this a problem? Meaning many people in the winter especially, many people are going to sleep after chatzos. There's many people going to sleep before chatzos, but those that go to sleep after chatzos, some say that the whole tumah it's chatzos that causes this whole tumah, right? So obviously we don't rely on that to wash your hands in the morning, but if you want to sleep very late, so then you could rely on that too. Okay, so let's see base. Yeah, yilbash malbash arishan is a tal. So that's basically natilas yadayim. Yeah, we leaving anything out with natilas yadayim?
You go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, should you wash
before or after?
Or both, I guess.
No, you're saying because the l'chayra before.
Oh, before anyway. Before.
No, but if you get up in the middle of the night already to go to the bathroom, stomach, you're in a rush. So then, no, you shouldn't wash your hands. You shouldn't about the shak, so you should hurry up and go to the bathroom. Right, so l'chayr in the middle of the night, but afterwards, should you wash your hands with a cup and make? Right, so that's what I'm saying. Since you plan on going back to sleep,
you have to sleep anyway.
You just wash your hands so that you're able to make the bracha of Ashayatzar, and then you don't have to. Right, that's a good. Thank you. That's a good. A good order.
So you can't go back to sleep and make Ashayatzar when you wake up final afterwards.
No, I mean, by the time you wake up again, you need to make another Ashayatzar. Right? You're gonna lose out the first Ashayotza. Hey, we'll get to that when we do Ashayotza. Fine. So that's the first. That's the Tila Sidan. Right. Then Yilbash Malbash Harishan. Yeah.
Everyone here knows you don't know. How about a guy like me who gets up an average of 5 times a night, sometimes 10 times.
You got Meir Brachas covered by the time you're out of bed.
I can say that it works well.
No, once
what had to do
right.
is what's it called? That's it. Whatever you just said.
No, because once you're done and you feel like you don't have to go anymore, so then you make Ashayotza. Right?
I'm up again in another 20
minutes. But for right now,
20 minutes also,
for right now, you're okay. For right now, you're okay. So you make Ashayotza. You know what the shaila comes up when people before they take what's it called? Or a colonoscopy, right?
Don't remind me.
When you take that, right? So you're taking that medication. So do you say Ashayotza? Do you not say Ashayotza? Huh? Yeah. All right. Okay, we'll get to that one, Be'ez Hashem, when we discuss Ashayotza. So, Be'ez, Yobash Malbash Harishan is a talis cotton. The first thing you're supposed to wear is a talis cotton. Shalo Yelech Dalet Amas Belit Tzitzis. You shouldn't walk Dalet Amas without tzitzis. But since your hands are not clean, so you don't make a broch on it.
So when you wake up to go to the bathroom, you should put your tzitzis on?
Yes, when you wake up to go to, I think the Velt doesn't do this either.
No.
Where does this come from? Lyle loves tzitzis.
Wait, no, we're not talking about that during the day. For those of us that get up after daybreak, right? Right? So do you put your tzitzis on first thing? Why not?
You're not wearing a beggar that's higher than tzitzis.
No, because the minig is we wear tzitzis. The minig is, I guess we're supposed to wear tzitzis. Unless you have a good excuse not to, you're supposed to wear tzitzis. So you should put on your tzitzis right away. Right? You put on
so he's not.
Before you wash your hands,
he's not the Kitzur that sleeps in the tzitzis.
Oh, it's mashma, very good. It's mashma, right? It's mashma in the Kitzur that you're not sleeping in your tzitzis. That's for sure.
But people do.
Yeah, see this. Right? But you're supposed to. I don't do this myself, and every day, I don't know. I can't say every day I wonder why I don't, but some days I wonder why I don't.
So do you make a bracha on it when you're getting up?
Okay, in the winter it's usually dark still.
So you can't make a bracha on it when you get up because you wore it overnight.
No. 1 second. So then, when do you make the bracha? So let's say you put on your tzitzis.
They have a different
tzitzis. You can't make a bracha when your hands are clean.
Yeah, my father always slept in a different pair.
They have shluf tzitzis.
Right, but
right, I mean, it's the same tzitzis. It's just a different bag.
If you sleep in the tzitzis, you don't have a problem because when you get up, you're wearing tzitzis. Right, and then when you switch the tzitzis, you make a bracha. That's not an issue. That's a non-issue. But for those that don't sleep in tzitzis, right? So you put on the tzitzis before you wash them tilas yadayim, so you're not allowed to make the bracha because your hands are dirty. So you put on the tzitzis. So when do you make the bracha? So the Paiskim always said that you move the tzitzis. You can shake the tzitzis, and then you can make the bracha. Right? I never understood why can't you just take off the tzitzis?
You want to lose that second.
But don't move.
Don't lose the second.
You don't want to lose that second. Oh, so all of a sudden you're saying we're not up.
Don't we make it on our talis now? Don't you make it on the talis?
I didn't say I'm arguing with him. I'm just saying,
I'm not so sure that is correct.
I thought also you're not supposed to wear tzitzis on bare skin.
That's an overrated thing. I don't know where that comes from exactly. The beggar itself is certainly not an issue, right? It's the strings, but that's overrated.
I thought it was lying to the tzitzis. If you sweat on the actual tzitzis. That's why we say we shouldn't wear a bare chest or whatever it is.
I don't know where that comes from. There's no intrinsic kedusha to tzitzis. I hate to say it, right? Tzitzis me'ikaradin doesn't even need to go into shameless.
Some people sleep in
right?
a log.
I mean, they say it's better. The person say it's better to, but it doesn't have to go into shameless.
The beggar doesn't have to go, but tzitzis have to go.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Me'ikaradin, they don't.
Don't they? Even to wrap for kedusha and the wrap with the b'shem tzitzis and all that stuff.
That's all very nice. But the ikar din is that you don't have to. You can put the tzitzis in the garbage. You're supposed to wrap it up to do it in a respectful way. Okay, but whatever it is. So
seriously,
he brings what?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not lying. Unless I could be out forgetting. That could be, but I'm not lying. But he brings here from the Kaf HaChaim, and I was always wondering this. He says, yeah, you can take off the tzitzis and put it back on. It makes a lot more sense. It's much more of a bracha over l'siyasa. Again, let's make sure I understand why. Because you're supposed to make a bracha before you do the mitzvah, right? So if the tzitzis is already on you, then you already lost the bracha, right? So what the Pais can say is you move the tzitzis, you mashmesh the tzitzis, whatever that means. You feel them, you feel the tzitzis, you make the bracha. What would be better halachically, to feel them or to take them off? And now you take them off. That means you have your masir das. You say, okay, my mitzvah is over. Now I'm going to put on the tzitzis again.
So
now
why
I'm
would
going to
it be
make
different than schach, right? Schach, you don't have to take them off and then put them back on. You just move them around and then you can make a bracha.
Well, there's no bracha in schach.
Well,
so
to make a bracha kosher.
You can make it right.
Right?
Yeah, but
you don't have to take it off and put it.
That's
just
true.
Move it around.
That's true because you're moving it from its original position.
So the same thing with the tzitzis. You're moving it from its original
position. That's true, but what would be better, to take it off or
why should it be better or worse?
What?
Why is it better or worse? It's the same thing.
Right. So now you want to make a bracha. So maybe we should put it on. But that's what he's saying. But he's rather you put it on. He's saying an interesting point, right? Meaning maybe the suffix bracha should make it that you shouldn't put on the tzitzis in the first place. Right?
That's a bad mitzvah.
What?
Shouldn't be better or worse.
To walk, Dalet Amos. Yeah. He's saying that. But maybe that's a makar why people don't put on the tzitzis. You don't have any of these tzitzis. Well, the truth be told, that most people have the minhag that you make a bracha on the talis, not on your talis cotton, right? I imagine most of the oilam does that here.
Depends how much of a gap you have.
Okay, yeah, but it's got to be 2-3 hour gap.
Really?
Yeah, it's got to be a 2-3 hour gap. Yes, I think so. You think how much of a gap?
When you go into traffic, you're trying to light you up while you're drinking your coffee.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know. But so it's not negative. For those that are making the bracha on the talis gadol, not on the talis cotton, so the whole thing is not negative.
What's the time?
The rabbi is clearly saying it's a lot less than what I think. I thought I remember Rabbi Forst saying a couple of hours, but I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him. To me, I think it's the same time lapse like on Yom Kippur. If you have a break on Yom Kippur, I'm not going to say if you have a break in Dishel, right? You have a break on Yom Kippur, right? Okay, so you have a break on Yom Kippur. So 2-3 hour break. So the place can say 2-3 hours. Then you have to put on. You have to make the bracha again.
2 or 3.
What?
2 or 3.
It really depends on your machshav. You take a nap, it's worse. It's worse.
Then even half an hour.
It happens to me sometimes.
What? Did you have a break on Yom Kippur?
No. And you don't put a task code.
In the summer, it could happen. Huh? Yeah. Theoretically, in the summer, it could happen. Yeah. So if it's that long, then.
Yaakov.
If you take a nap when?
Get up.
Talis cotton.
Put the kids on the bus, take a nap.
Then before you go to daven. Your problem is that you're not allowed to go to back to sleep. But okay, okay, depending on where you're from. Okay, that's it, right? You only stick to the question being asked, right? So then the chayri, that I would say yes, you should make a bracha. But then it doesn't make sense because you make a bracha to take it right back off to go to sleep. Stam is like during the day. Stam when you take a nap during the day, let's say Shabbos afternoon, you take your major nap, not your power nap, your major nap, right? So really you should wear tzitzis when you go to sleep because That meaning not a Hasidic thing, halachic thing, because then you have a suffolk brachas when you have to put back on the tzitzis. So like this, either you wear the tzitzis or you use it as a blanket. That's what the post can say.
What about the person that takes off the tzitzis to go outside on Shabbos?
That l'chayra, that would require them to, I would think they would need to make a bracha because that's in a matzav where they hold that you can't wear the tzitzis. Briskas don't wear tzitzis in the outside on Shabbos, if anybody didn't know that. But we're not even holding by birchas tzitzis, we're holding by getting.
So Yaakov, I don't understand what he's saying. So I slept I slept bare chested, like Simon was saying.
Right.
So he's telling me that he's telling me I should put on my tzitzis, and then 10 minutes later I'm getting dressed. So I take off my tzitzis and put on an undershirt, then put on my tzitzis again. What?
Here, that's l'chayra. That's what. Yeah. Is that so schwer to do that?
But when are you making the bracha?
Oh, so you won't. You put on the tzitzis, then you walk around 10 minutes, whatever. Then when you get dressed, you're taking off the tzitzis. Then you make the bracha when you put on. But if you're putting on a talis anyways, then you're not.
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, I just make.
But let's say But let's say you're not davening till later, right? What?
The whole thing is washing it to a slime. He's making it before you say he's washing hands.
Right.
So in his scenario also he has to wash his hands in between
the assumption is he's right. I'm assuming he's gonna wash his hands. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is. Now what about a yarmulke? If you sleep without a yarmulke, which I think the Hamaynam does, right? You put on the yarmulke before you wash your hands or not? Or should you wash your hands first?
You said to say Hashem's name, you need a yarmulke.
When are you saying Hashem's name? You're not saying Hashem.
Why can't you put a yarmulke on before you wash your hands?
He doesn't want to.
Because
that's what he's asking.
Because you're not supposed to touch anything. You're not supposed to touch anything.
You're washing. You just said you're washing.
What? You really shouldn't. Yeah.
You just said you're washing, no?
No, you're supposed to wash your hands before you get dressed.
But you're washing your hands, you're going to say the bracha, no?
What bracha are you saying?
Once you wash, you mean you want to...
When you wash negovasa, there's no bracha.
Well, okay, he's saying it different. Some do make the bracha Netilas Yadayim right away, and some wait till davening. So he's getting involved in that machlokes. We're not going there now. That will do a Bez Hashem when we get to Hilchos Tefillah. Right? Yeah, so where did I saw that? From that, Shama Zalman says you could put on your yarmulke. Did I see it in here? I guess if you could, then you should, right? No, if you could, you should. That's what I would think. That's what I would think. But okay, I don't know. Well, I don't know where I would have seen that. Okay, let's see weiter. So now, how do you do Netilas Yadayim? So Netilas Yadayim Shachris Sif Gimel now. Netilas Yadayim Shachris He B'Dero said. Noitel a Kli B'Yad Yamina. It's another thing that people don't do. Okay, you gotta have your brains. But this is what he means in Sif Aleph that you get up correct. You get up in the morning and you're doing Avodas Hashem. The first second that you're up, it should be wrote. What? A lot of people agree with you. Yes. So, anyways, so noitel a kli b'yad yamin. You take the kli in your right hand, right? Then you put it to your left hand.
Fill it. Right?
Well, then you got to fill it. Then it's okay. Pick it up with your right hand. Put it into your left hand. Shoifech tchila al yad yamin. Then you pour once on your right hand. Switch hands. Shoifech al yad small. Put it onto the left. You do that 3 times, and according to the Gra, you do it 4 times. Yeah. Then he brings a chumrah on the bottom here. There's the sheet of the Knesset HaGedayla that you don't do it. How do you call it when you alternate? You don't alternate hands. You're supposed to do 3 on the right and 3 on the left, the way Chabad washes for bread, right? So the Machmirim do both. Now depending on how big your water bill is, you're planning your water bill being, but the Machmirim do both. First alternating and then go. Now, l'chayra, do you have to do the gra 4 times if you're doing the second? I think l'chayra. I would think that you don't have to.
You didn't do it in a row.
I don't know.
You really big Mashiach das from anything else.
And you're ready for a nap.
Yeah,
how big is the cup by your bed?
Yeah, I don't know if they have. Yeah. By the way, Reb Chaim Kanevsky, and there's one of these svarim that has pictures of Reb Chaim Kanevsky's day. Throughout his day, they took pictures. So he obviously washes negavasa next to the bed. His whole house is not really Daled Amos anyways, but he's makbid that it shouldn't sit out either. It's gilu.
So where is
he keeps water in bottles next to his bed. At least this picture had that. He keeps soda bottles or whatever full of water.
Wait, so he wakes up and then he pours it?
Yes. Yeah, that part there was no picture of, but I'm assuming.
Wait a second. So he's holding the bottle of water.
Right, so how does he hold the bottle of water? Yes, I don't know.
We were actually told to do, we went to see him. He told us to use bottled water.
He what?
We were told it's a sagul. Without a sagul, I don't know. It's a nice thing to do is to put water in a bottle and use that for negavasa.
That's because of Gilui, because he's afraid of snakes. Because really the halacha is everybody asks about water that's open, leave it out about drinking it. In Shulchan Aruch, it says really you can't wash with water that's left out either. And by the way, being left out doesn't mean overnight. For some reason, people think it means left out overnight. It's even left out by itself for 5 minutes, for 2 minutes.
The coffee or whatever
That's what they're, yeah. If there's a human around, then that's not an issue. But if there's nobody around, then it's immediate. Okay, but nowadays we don't have snakes, so that's not such a concern. But the Gra was makbid, that he held that there was Gilui. We still have to be makbid for Gilui, because even though the reason of the Rabbanan goes away because of snakes, but the Rabbanan had all the hidden reasons why they said things, so therefore you should still be makbid on Gilui. So Reb Chaim goes with that. Fine. It's best to wash it up until the wrist, right? But b'shasat chag, it's enough just to do it to your knuckles, which is why we do that on Yom Kippur and on Tisha B'Av. No, to where they meet the palm, right? Meaning, people think that the reason why on Tisha B'Av and on Yom Kippur you wash half your hands is because we can't do it. You really can't, right? Like we'll do a little bit. We'll throw the dog a bone. We'll wash the hands. No, it's enough. No, it's a machlokes when you want, right? It says, we said before that the tumah goes out of the body except for the fingers. Does that mean the hand or does that, what? It says fingers. So does fingers mean just the fingers from your knuckles on down, or does it mean the entire hand? So that's a machlokes, just like you said, everything else is a machlokes. So normally we paskin that you should wash the whole hand. But on Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur, because there's an isser to wash, we're going to rely on the shittas that hold that every day you only have to wash up to the knuckles. Right? It's not pshat that on Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur we're just being more makel. No, we're relying on the shitta that every day holds that you only have to wash up to the knuckles, which we don't do every day because Baruch Hashem, water, we have plenty of water. But if you had a shortage of water, right, then echanami, so then that's just shasat chaks, then you would only wash up to the knuckles. All right. Now, let's say you have a shortage of water. Is it better to wash once to the wrist or 3 times each to the knuckle?
Probably 3 times to the knuckles.
Why?
We're worried about Havoras Tumah.
Okay, so 3 times. So one time really cuts it.
So why even go 3?
What? 3 times or 4 times.
So we don't want to mess with.
What we know.
Good, but the shaila is in the halacha. What's better, la halacha? Forget the heebie-jeebie, right? So he brings here from the Kitzur Shulchan, not the Kitzur. That's what's it called? He's the Reb Chaim says that it's you wash once. Better to wash once up to the wrist, and then instead of washing 3 times to the knuckle.
Yaakov,
Yeah.
Are you allowed to get hana from this water? Meaning, like
no.
especially the Gilui water. Like if you instead of down the drain or whatever, you put it in the negelvasser. Can you like give it to the dogs or put it?
It's very good, Simon. Hold off 2 minutes. We're going to get to that, and we're going to get to that. Very good. You're mechavan to the next sif.
According to Rav Chaim Na, why would you? Who seems to say that no, you really should wash to the wrist. Then why on Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av, according to him, would you only wash to the knuckle? Meaning he seems to be that he's saying that the ikr is to wash to the wrist. There's nothing about washing to the knuckle, right?
He's saying he should on Tisha B'Av Yom Kippur. You should hold.
He should say also wash to the wrist.
I hear what.
That's more ideal than that.
But shasat, I mean, ain't shasat chak gedolim mizuah. That Yom Kippur, it's an issa. It's not a disa deraisa, but it's a issa to wash on Yom Kippur.
Because you have an issa rechitza also, so maybe
right. No,
that
so that's
together
why
he's
saying no, you shouldn't.
Yeah, so that's why even according to Chaim, no, you wouldn't go up to the wrist.
I don't know. All right, good kasha. The oilam is masking to your kasha back here.
And we have snakes here in Florida.
Okay, but are they poisonous?
Sometimes.
Farako has snakes too. Now we have a big uptick in snakes here. And I had
They just look like people.
last summer. I had quite a few people ask me that they left out snakes. They left out water in their house, and they know they have snakes. Like down by beach. Now, yeah, they're not. I don't think.
No, we have by my yard. We have snakes.
Right in your neighborhood. They have snakes.
Yeah, they steal.
I don't think they're
steal
poisonous. Right. Fine. Okay, let's see. You have to wash your face also. Right? You're in the tzelem elikim. You also have to wash out your mouth because of the ririn that's in there. So the saliva. When you're going to mention Hashem's name, so it has to be kedusha v'tara. So therefore, you got to wash out your mouth too. And afterwards, you have to dry your hands. I don't think people are too makrid on this either. You have to make sure you dry your face very well. You're not supposed to leave your what? What is?
His holes?
What is?
His holes if you don't dry your
Oh,
face.
holes.
Cracks in your skin.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not just unhealthy. It's an unhealthy zah to not dry your skin. Fine. Dalit. You need to wash your hands specifically into a kli. And you're not allowed to benefit from the here, Simon, from the water that you wash your hands. It's bad spirits are resting on it. So, but where animals go,
there's no ruach ra by animals.
What? No, can you feed it to your animal?
Humans.
No, but that's hana.
What?
That's hana.
That is
why it's ruining.
It's your animal.
Yeah.
It's making mud.
No, he's saying it's also bahana. He says also lahanas.
Or what about in a garden? Like if you're pouring it in a place where people can't walk, but you have like an herb garden outside your window or something like that, you can't pour it there.
I don't know. As long as people don't walk there, it seems to be that as long as people don't walk there, then it's okay.
How far after you wash? How long after you wash does it have to be in that place where people don't walk? Meaning, like when you go to hotels and you're washing Netilas Yadayim for something, right? And they have the big bucket that you wash your hands in. Is that a problem?
Then it spills over.
That's not tumah.
Or it's just sitting there.
Do we say this for Netilas Yadayim for bread that it also has this tumah, or only in the morning?
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know.
I think only in the morning. I think only in the morning it has to do, not later. And the truth is, you could say really that since it's the first washing is the main one, so 2/3 of the water maybe doesn't have the same level tumah as the others.
So fine. So when you're washing in a basin, if you're washing in a basin next to your bed, you have to immediately take it to a place where nobody's going to walk, or you could leave it there for a little bit. It has to be right away.
Give us a cup under your bed.
You should. Can you keep it under your bed? The place can say you should not, because of you sleeping on top of it. Yeah, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, very good. The place can say you shouldn't sleep on top of it.
5 minutes, sure.
Yeah, that's
I know. Why did you say no? So I don't know why you're asking me. Just no.
I hear. I don't know. But no, one thing is for sure. If you're like, if you're washing negavasa in your kitchen sink, and that's a kli. That's a kli. Certainly, if there's dishes in there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to make the tray. It's not making a tray.
Wash in the bathroom and come out and make a bracha?
Yeah. Especially if we don't, many poskim say better to make Netilas Yadayim only once you start davening. But that's a different issue. Be'ez Hashem, we'll get to that. But yeah, you should not wash in the sink. If you're washing in the kitchen sink, you shouldn't wash. At least the initial washing of the day should not be on top of these things, right? Oh, he says it here, right? You shouldn't do it in a sink that has utensils in there, right? And he says even women and children shouldn't do it. You can. He says if you do it, then you wash it 3 times. You should wash it 3 times. They say that about food also. Well, that's the next. What time? Okay, I got to stop now. Okay, fine. All right, the Olam should have a good week. I'll see the Daf Olam in a few minutes.
Not even a passion.
Oh, yeah.
So